Hey everyone, I'm Lauren Kalil with Morning Chalk Up, and today on our show we have the three-time fittest teen who's now making a name for himself in the individual category. We have Dallin Pepper, just off of a high from Wodapalooza. How's it going, Dallin?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing, but I think you're better because you get to actually stay in the beautiful state of Florida where the sun is shining and the weather is warm.
Yes, a nice 80 degrees when we wake up every day, go to the gym. It's easy to warm up. Yeah, it feels amazing here, and what better state than Florida? It's amazing.
I'm in upstate New York and it's like a whopping 5 degrees with snow on the ground. And it probably takes me like 45 minutes to an hour to warm up.
That's how it is back home. Check the weather, and our family's waking up 25, 30 degrees. Have to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah. Like I can only imagine. You've been in Florida for a couple years now, um, out with the Matt Torres and the Brute Strength crew. You guys look like you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, so actually, I we just moved here a week before Wodapalooza. So I've been training under Matt for a few years,
Ah.
but we just moved here, and same with the rest of the crew. So we just barely got out here trying to make the adjustment, and it seems to be going pretty smooth.
Obviously something is working after your performance at Wodapalooza that we'll get into just in a minute. But being down there with the crew, I know Emma Carey just moved down to the Naples area. Training with this crew together, how has it been in just a couple of weeks that you've been doing it so far?
Yeah, I mean, something we're doing a little bit different than I think a lot of training camps is what we do each day is still going to be completely individualized for us. So what we are doing individually is nothing changes from when we were back home. Just the atmosphere of people chasing the same goals, being in the same room as you all the time. It just brings up that intensity another notch. We're all more focused, and we just have people to do it with. Like it can get really lonely training
Mm.
alone. But just having all those great people around us is going to be awesome.
There's so many eyes on the whole crew of you guys right now. But before we touch that more, let's go back to Wodapalooza. You
Hmm.
finished fifth overall. The weekend it had a lot of shifts for you on the leaderboard. Going
Yep.
into day two, you were just 3 points behind Pat Vellner in first.
Hmm.
What was it like for you to kick off the weekend like that?
To be 100% honest, I've been in that position before. Like at West Coast Classic, I was winning
Mhm.
after day one, and I know that means absolutely nothing. So nothing changed. I saw where I was at, but it didn't matter because we were a quarter of the way through the entire weekend. There's still so many points, and I knew there would be ups and downs through the events we still had left. So really, I didn't think about it too much. It was cool to show up on some of those workouts, and like I had no idea where I'd finish on the flip sled workout and to pull a fourth place there. And I knew I could do well on the Fran. I wasn't excited about it, but I knew I could do well. Um, so it was just really nice to get like those first workouts out of the way, the competition jitters, and just build a little confidence going into the rest of the weekend, knowing I am prepared just like everyone else. So.
And speaking of that, the flip sled flips, you took event or you took fourth in
Mhm.
event one. Had you worked with that tool before those sleds?
I had never touched one until I came to Miami. When we checked in, I kind of made my way over to their tent in the vendor village, and I was like, "Hey, you guys got to let me
Ah.
flip this for a minute." So I practiced a couple of things, videoed it, checked out some other CrossFitters that have done, posted on YouTube or something like that, and then a few weeks ago, I went to Scott Panchik's gym to train with Fisa Goffey, and he helped me with the games pig. It's similar, so getting some tips from him was really helpful too.
Were you able to utilize what you learned from using it just a couple days prior in the competition, or did like the other elements of the workout with the GHGs and the heavy rope, did that impact it at all, your technique?
I think really just figuring out what like hand position worked for you best, and that's a pretty quick adjustment when you're practicing it. Like when I practiced a few days before, the hardest
Mhm.
part of the workout was by far the double unders and the GHDs. The flip sled as a bigger athlete, like it wasn't too heavy. It kept the heart rate up a little bit, but that was the recovery, if you want to call it that. But yeah.
You kind of broke out as this, finally individual male athlete back at West Coast Classic. Everybody knows you as like one of the teen sensations that you won
Hmm.
3 years in a row. But have you found it difficult to almost like make a name for yourself in the individual category?
I think the transition, like actually physically and competing, is definitely difficult just because competitive, um, how competitive all the men are. Like everything's so fast when you're out on that floor. Everyone's good at everything. I'm not too worried about making a name for myself. I'll let the results speak for that as I continue to compete. But I mean, I'm pretty not sick of, but I'm tired of hearing about the what I did as a teenager. I loved it. It got me to where I am, but I'm an individual now, and so I'm here to compete with them. So I'm not letting any of that transfer over, if that makes sense.
And you have been for a bit now. You're 20 years old, so it's been a couple years since you even were in the teen category. Back to Wodapalooza, you finished day one so strong. Then day two and three didn't necessarily go the way that maybe you planned. I saw on your Instagram during the Bayside Chipper event that little spill you took over the box jump. Your ankle did not look good.
No, it was not good. Yeah, so to start the day, the lifting event was great, very stressful. But I did exactly what I wanted, and I was really excited about the chipper. I knew I could place top 10 on it. It wasn't anywhere in my wheelhouse necessarily, but I knew I could do well. Legs were feeling the Fran workout from the night before. We go into 48 or 48 box jump overs, and then get to step overs with 120 pounds in the front rack on these soft, long boxes, and
Yeah.
leg fatigue got to me a little bit, and I landed on my ankle weird, and I rolled it pretty good. It was pretty serious.
Did you ever go see like the medical staff during that, or what was their diagnosis?
So what happened is pretty funny. Vellner was talking about it on the Savon podcast, I believe, but I finished the workout and he had finished a little bit ahead of me. And I look at him in the eyes, like he makes eye contact with me, and he just says, "I rolled my ankle." Like, and it was pretty funny to hear him explain it. But he actually went over and grabbed the medical team for me. We went over to them. They diagnosed it a little bit. There wasn't anything like I could still compete. They weren't worried
Mhm.
about it getting any worse. It was just really swollen and painful. And then Ryan Lunny was my PT that we have there, and he's a wizard. Like he took me from not being able to walk in the morning to overhead squatting 205 and running a 2K barefoot. So
Wow.
he couldn't have done it without my team for sure, but it was definitely challenging.
Do you feel like because of that little ankle roller twist that affected any of your performances throughout the weekend after that?
Yeah, I wasted after I fell on the box jump overs, I stood there for like 45 seconds trying to gather my kettlebells, get into the other side of the box. Um, and then I was babying it, jumping up on the rope climbs. I got to the burpee box jump overs
Mm.
and I could feel it swelling, so I was jumping on one foot. Um, so I know that cost me a couple spots there, probably like 6 to 7 spots. Running barefoot, I was definitely babying it a little bit. Um, so I think I left anywhere between like 30 to 50 points on the table because of it, but I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I learned a lot about myself. So
What do you think is like the one thing from like facing adversity like that in a workout that maybe in the middle of it you wish that you did different?
um, like in the middle of the chipper
Yeah,
or
like
just through the whole weekend.
as soon as you knew there was the injury, did you react in a certain way that like if you could go back in time, you would do it differently if like another injury happens during a competition?
I thought I did. I honestly am pretty proud of myself. Like the first thing I thought was like, oh shit, I have to go to the other side of the box. I got a no rep. Like I have to carry my kettlebells around. Um, so I was like, I looked pretty calm out there, even though I was freaking out in my head.
Hmm.
And I kept pushing. I gave my absolute best effort on that workout. So I really wouldn't change anything, to be honest. So
And then like the good thing is You ended the weekend on a high note with the event win. It was like the ankle, you weren't even thinking about that. And
Yeah.
day 2 and 3, like kind of a blur. The 55 toes to bar, the 55 devil's press. When you watched the live stream, since I wasn't in Miami, it was really hard to see like where people were, and like not everybody
Hmm.
gets on camera. But then afterwards, you go and you look at the leaderboard, and you won by milliseconds. Like
Yeah.
just like in the moment, did you know where you were? Did you know that you hit the buzzer first, or like what was going through your mind?
So I knew I was like the last one off the toaster bar, and
Mhm.
in the live stream you don't see me at all because I was one of the very last people off the toaster bar. I was okay with that. I was comfortable. I stuck to my game plan, and I knew the devil's press is where I'd make up a lot of ground. But as we got into that last box, I think Phil Toon and Alexander Carone
Yep.
uh, 1 or 2 reps ahead of me. And I started to see Carone like step up. Phil was slowing down just a little bit. So 6 reps left. I said you should go as fast as you possibly can and just see what happens. And we all reached for the buzzer at the exact same time. And I actually didn't
Yeah.
know I won the event until like 30 minutes later when Brian Friend came over and talked to us. So I just was like celebrating an awesome race. Like it was such a cool way to
Yeah.
end the weekend. I mean, 3 spots separated by 0.3 of a second. Uh, and if you watch closely on a couple different angles, it was all about like how each of us reached our hand towards the buzzer. Like if you came up an inch, you didn't get the
Mm.
win, like that kind of thing. It was such a cool way to end the weekend. Like it was just a lot of fun no matter the result of that. It was like super exciting. So it was fun.
What is the environment like with the other athletes? Were like the three of you like chatting about it afterwards, or is it like your game face is on because you don't know who won? What's the environment with the athletes like?
Especially so for 2 reasons, I thought it was pretty chill. It's like it's an off-season competition. Everyone's a
Mhm.
lot more relaxed than say the regional or sorry semifinals or the games.
Yeah.
And the weekend's over at that point. Like and with Phil, like we're good friends now that we have the same coach. So we were hugging each other. That was a lot of fun. And talked to Alexander for a minute and messaged him on Instagram. And we just talked about how cool, what a cool way to end the weekend. So everyone's really chill, especially at Wodapalooza. So.
Oh, that's so good to hear because I mean, of course you want to see like these great races, but I think also watching like how the athletes interact with each
Hmm.
other is also very interesting because you guys are all like deep in the shit together.
Yes. Like, I mean, 55 Devils Press, what a pretty boring but exciting way to end the weekend. Like, yeah, it was brutal workout. I couldn't feel my arms at all. I really wanted to go get chalk because I didn't think I was gonna be in the race for the win. I almost like I'm gonna go grab some chalk real quick, but you can't do that. So it was
No,
fun.
gotta just suck it up at that point.
Yeah, just deal with it. If you drop the dumbbell, then you lose anyway. So
Yeah, good point, good point. What was
yep.
your biggest takeaway from Wodapalooza?
I learned a lot of things like little things I need to work on in my training, that type of thing. But I think I really proved to myself how bad I do want this. I know I want it, but with what I went through with my ankle, like not being able to walk in the morning, as soon as I got on the floor, I was ready to throw down and I was trying to win every event I could. Um, that was my biggest takeaway, how bad I really do want this.
So now the off-season competitions have ended. You're digesting Wodapalooza. You're getting back into normal training. What does uh, everything look like from now until I guess semifinals? Really?
Yeah, so right now we're going to prioritize ankle rehab, doing a lot of that. We'll keep doing handstand push-ups and running. People know that's what I got to work on. Um, and just really focused on semifinals. We're not too worried about the open or quarterfinals. Everything's focused on the semifinals.
And now even having like this new environment down in Naples, Florida, with the training camp, brute strength, Matt at the helm. How do you feel like this will set you up this season versus maybe how you went into last season and how you prepared?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, like, it's awesome that all these other athletes are down here, but I'm here to train with Matt. Everyone else is just there, and it's fun. We get to hang out. But that's why I came down here is to be with Matt so that he can, from middle of a workout and it needs to be adjusted because I'm not doing achieving the stimulus that he wants, we'll just change the reps or change the movement right there on the spot, where instead of waiting a full another week until we're on the next Tuesday or whatever to make the adjustment, we can change it right there. So just little things like that, little 1% a day, are going to make a huge difference in my opinion.
What can people expect to see from you this season?
Not just to qualify, I'm there to compete and to win. So yeah, that's just be ready. You'll know about us down in Naples.
We know you guys are coming full steam ahead. You're excited. Any other fun things that you're going to be doing leading up to the season? I mean, now you're living in Florida. You were in Utah before, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, very different lifestyle. How has that like
Yes.
all been adjusting?
It's way warmer and that's very nice. I don't know, everything just seems very calm in Naples. Everyone's retired and old anyway. So everything's just super calm and I fit in really well. Just I'm
With the
kind of an
old
old,
people.
yeah, old person at heart, and so it hasn't been a huge adjustment. Um, it's been awesome, really.
Awesome. Well, Dallin, thank you so much for taking the time to catch up. Incredible performance, getting fifth overall at Wodapalooza. We look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the 2022 season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.